Issue 198. We start out with Sonic running in front of Rotor, who's driving a truck getting attacked by a laser, and he teases him about how he's inexplicably now getting back into field action and isn't having fun. Sally orders the truck to be stopped, and Amy, Sonic, and Antoine clear the immediate area, fighting with Dark Legion goons as Bun uses her force field to protect them. I like that Antoine looks worried. They still kinda remember his sympathetic, nervous side. Linda asks why they stopped their advance, saying they were making such headway. Well, I assume it was her because she was in the Eggmobile thing and had red hair, but then I also noticed she had pink hair. I don't know. She gets her hopes up that they won, only for Knuckles to say she just got flanked, and the Chaotic Soul gang up on her goons. Sonic knocks Linda out of the Eggmobile, causing her to speak in her expected cruel way and try to attack him with her whip. Antoine looks sad, breaking her whip with a sword as he asks her if she has no honor, and Linda just thinks he's being judgmental. Linda orders her groups to pull back and call for some support, and Charmy tells Sally, who's weirdly drawn to the point of reminding me of the Letijo Paula story, that the Dark Egg Legion is in retreat. She tells him to spread the word to regroup, and Tails calls her on what looks like the handheld version of Nicole to make me wonder if this story took place years earlier in canon. But I guess she can't really leave the city and still be in organic form. He tells her that he's done ahead of schedule doing what he was doing, and Sally tells him to meet up with them because it's time to finish this. Meanwhile, Dimitri says his Legion needs backup, and Eggman says that's his cue as he's wearing what looks like a thin white cape made of toilet paper trailing from his back. He says that Enerjack got rid of his reserve Badnik horde, and then says dismissively they wouldn't use them now if he had them. Linda tells her men to provide cover fire with the rockets, and Sally tells everyone to stay together, saying that if they refuse to surrender, they still outnumber them, and Sonic reminds her how powerful he is. Sally tells Tails to shut them down with his device, which deactivates the goons' weapons. It's just then when the Egg Phoenix shows up, sending fire everywhere, and forces both the heroes and the Legion to retreat. Have things finally gotten interesting? Funny says that if she generates another force field, she'll pass out because apparently her force field power runs off her life energy, instead of having its own separate battery. Dimitri says in response to Snively's callousness for his people that while Eggman holds their destruction over his head, Dimitri holds Snively's. And Dimitri explains that he's done some snooping in his network searching for anything that might protect his people. He uses Snively's treasonous love affair to blackmail him into taking better care of his people, which is pretty good of him, wanting to protect his people so much. Snively then asks him why they can't both benefit from her arrival. That's pretty smart of him. Tails then asks Knuckles if he can reuse the neutralizing mines that apparently exist. Well, I guess they were used against the communications tower. Knuckles asks if they can take it out, and Tails says that they'd have to be on that thing to pack enough punch. I have no clue what they're talking about. Then Sally orders Knuckles to find Vector and orders Tails to find Bunny and comes up with a plan. Then Sonic has an amusing line, "This is my most favorite plan ever," and taunts Eggman to get him chasing him with the Egg Phoenix. He tells Vector to toss and get clear, causing him to toss Sonic up to a gliding Knuckles, who rudely calls Sonic hopeless for, God forbid, getting thrills and enjoyment out of the situation. Then Tails throws Sonic upwards as he thanks Tails for doing so. Bunny does the same thing with her extendo arm, and Sonic warns Eggman about flying straight up, telling him that he runs the risk of stalling out. As the two fall together, he calls Eggman an idiot while looking bored while falling, which is charming, like kinda Bugs Bunny-esque. And Ray, Charmy, and Saffron plant mines quickly, with Charmy saying endearingly that it's like planting flowers. Ray the Flying Squirrel actually gets a fly for once, as he and Charmy grab Sonic and save him. As the Egg Phoenix approaches Sally and Tails, Tails says that they have a limited range, so they have to wait until he's close enough. Finally, Tails activates the device, sending electricity all around Eggman, causing him to leave the Egg Phoenix furiously ranting in his Eggmobile, and Sonic just barely avoids an explosion. Sally tells Rotor to park the truck over here and they'll unload the shield generator, and Sonic is disappointed that the mission ended so soon. Sally says that they've made it to the Egg Dome's perimeter, driven back the Dark Legion, and survived one of Eggman's killer machines, looking annoyed with how Sonic says confidently with his arms behind his head, "I suppose it makes for a full day, you know, for you people." Sonic and Sally both smile rather than Sally being annoyed, and she tells him to set up camp for the night, mighting Rotor then stand in front of a device sending a blue laser thing up to the sky. With Tails in a fetal position looking nervous, Sonic sits beside him sweetly putting his arm around his back as they talk about how tomorrow they're going to try to beat Eggman once for all. I think Tilt's pretty nervous about such a high-pressure plan potentially failing. At first I thought he was just sad that all the fun fighting was finally going to be over. Of course it won't be forever since status quo is God, but whatever. This issue was by Ian Flynn, and it was all action. Literally all action. I mean, this is an action series, but I mean, emotional impact, like having the characters have sympathetic moments, having them have actual character interactions, aside from one time when Sonic is insulted for liking adventure. All that's important too. And plus, it just immediately starts out right away at the start of one of the most important final missions ever, with the heroes fighting the Dark Egg Legion. Of course, the Empire has been said that it's been falling apart, but still, it's really that fast? They all carried out a plan involving an EMP disabler, mines, and Sonic distracting Eggman and his Egg Phoenix. But the problem for me was that there was really nothing interesting and stand out about this story. I was just describing what happened in it the whole time. Nothing to really rant over or get all excited over. The plan of the heroes was well crafted. I liked the devices they used, but there's nothing to say.
The story was so boring, with no charm. I mean, there were like a few charming panels. Like Sonic as a character was the saving grace of the story, but it was so boring. Like, you need more than just action to make a story appealing to me.